reason why I liken it to a soap opera is because the patterns kind of repeat over and over and over and over again, same old stories over and over again. And while these patterns are recurring all the time, we see the ratings sliding all the time, and the ratings is analogous for the share price of the three major holding companies. And so what tends to happen when things are on the slide like that, and if a soap opera is on the slide, there's an old trick they do, which is they introduce a new character.
Father McGrath, I thought you were dead.
I was!
And you can see that's happening in the advertising industry at the moment. Things are not working, things are a bit broken, and the new character is the consultancy. And in Australia in particular, the consultancy is making massive headways and coming in to the market in a very big way and kind of reconfiguring things.
Like all good soap operas, there's no end to it. But right now, certainly in Australia, the soap opera, that is the advertising industry, has got a new injection. And the new injection is the consultancy world. So Accenture, very high profile, they purchased the Monkeys, which is a super independent agency in Australia. KPMG's employed ex-agency people and ex-client CMOs. Deloitte has got a entire agency leadership group that has joined the Deloitte team. At PwC, they've employed people like me, I'm an ex-agency person, and also we have taken a small shareholding in a business called Thinkerbell. One of the reasons why the consultant has moved into advertising and marketing services generally is there's a real need to get the CEO and the CMO aligned around the growth strategies. The consultancies, of course, are tapped into the board, into the C-suite, and as a result of those relationships, we're able to get really strong conversations around marketing and really strong conversations around return on investment, what the right structure should be, what the right spend should be, and the right strategy.
Most consultancies don't really have the desire to be making television commercials or producing creative material. We have long-standing relationships with clients, and we're actually perhaps less in the world of creativity, but more in the world of kind of rigor and data and understanding and strategy, involved in so many more steps than an advertising agency will ever be involved in. Like, agencies are fantastic at telling stories and creating wonderful worlds that people get lost in and fall in love with brands and all that kind of stuff. But the way that agencies are set up historically and the way that consultancies are set up means that they're kind of two very different points of view on how you make things, how you solve problems. Agencies are very used to having long-term relationships with businesses and brands, being paid on retainer basis most of the time or a lot of the time. But consultancies never do any of that stuff, right? Like, yes, we have long-term relationships, but they're at a much larger kind of macro level. And every single thing that we do is a project. So we're just better and kind of more apt at setting up to work in that kind of environment. I think that's where the world is going as well now as well, is that everything is project by project. Who are the best people to solve this individual problem that I might have? And then how can I pull them together to get the maximum result? But as it relates to creativity specifically, I mean, we are asked our opinion from a consulting perspective in terms of, okay, well, how do we evaluate not whether this is creative or whether this is not creative, but thinking about the effectiveness of pieces. And that's probably the biggest overlap, is that, we're often asked, okay, as an independent person that didn't make this thing, did it work? What effect did it have? And what would we change moving forward?
Marketers are actually putting a fortress around brand and saying that they're the custodians and not letting the organisation own brand. Those times are dead, right? Those marketers need to move on and they need to move forward. They're causing a lot of the issues we're seeing with organisations not understanding brand. The reality today is only a very small amount of consumers' brand perception comes through the marketing department. Product, digital team, sales team, service teams, they can control much more of the impression of brand than just marketers. Marketers had to open up marketing and let the whole organisation understand and drive brand. It's a huge issue we're seeing. They also need to elevate the conversation with brand. They try to hold brand metrics to themselves. To be really frank, brand is far too important for just marketers to own. C-suite need to own it, non-exec directors need to own it, CFOs need to be owning it, and the metrics need to evolve past marketing metrics and be true financial metrics about the real performance of brand. The underlying issue we have is that the actual operating model of marketing hasn't changed in 50 to 60 years. So we need to, as an industry, change the way we think about marketing. The US is doing a lot and they're a long way ahead of us in doing that, and think about who drives the strategy, who runs the engine, and how does the model of marketing actually move forward forward in line with the technology stack, in line with the way that creative is being developed today, and not a traditional model which was set very much around producing TV and buying very old school media.